what that decision will be made by the GM. So I need you to go ahead and sign this saying that you understand that I explained this to you. Go ahead and read it. I'm fine with that.
You'll get a copy.
When private security teams and off-duty officers enforce corporate interests over public rights, where does the line between law and abuse blur?
For motorists to pass you, okay? Because you're going to start issues with people if not, okay?
I am allowed to be in the middle of the lane. Look it up in the driver's manual.
Watch as a man's right to card count at a casino becomes the battleground for justice, corporate greed, and the misuse of police power. February 21st, 2014, Maryland Live Casino. It started with a bathroom break. Justin Mills had been playing blackjack when he stepped away from the table. What followed was not a game, it was a confrontation. Moments after leaving the restroom, Mills was surrounded by casino security, their suspicion card counting, their demand that he come with them. But when Mills attempted to walk away, asserting his right to leave a private business, the security shift manager grabbed his arm, twisted it behind his back, and physically forced him into a back room. No police, no warrant, just casino employees using force to detain a man who had broken no law. Inside that room, Mills was told he wouldn't be allowed to leave without handing over his ID. He refused. So the casino brought in backup 2 off-duty police officers, Officer Douglas Bilter and Officer Kyle Chappello, both moonlighting for the casino. When they arrived, the real power imbalance became clear. Is a casino allowed to physically detain someone for using their brain? Do off-duty cops stop being officers of the law, or do they become tools of a private business? Let us know what you think in the comments, and if you value stories like this, hit like to help push it into the public conversation.
What's going on, man?
I don't know. I didn't do anything illegal.
Okay.
I let him know that I just like to leave. I haven't done anything illegal. He just brought me back here.
Okay.
He said, no, you got to come with me. You don't have a choice. I'm like, no, actually, you guys, if you want to, doing something illegal, for example, is if you've been trespassed somewhere and have been told you're not allowed to return, you come back and you trespass. I've never been, have had any issues.
Should I explain it to you? What he's trying to tell you?
Yeah.
Okay. So counting cards is what they're accusing you of. Okay.
Which is legal.
That is.
It's legal.
Okay. That it might be legal in your mind. Unfortunately, it's not here because there's ordinances and stuff. Okay. So at that point, you're in a private establishment where you're required to show ID to get in. It's a state establishment. So they're now asking you for your ID. That way they can ban you from coming back here. They need that ID. Okay, you can't leave here unless we ID who you are. So either you can give them your ID or you can go with us and we can fingerprint you, find out who you are, and then we'll release you. But it's going to be a lot easier if you give it to them, you'll be out of here in a minute, as opposed to going with us, which could take 2 or 3 hours. So you tell me what you want to do.
Sure, I just.
Okay, like I said,
I just know that they're not allowed to backroom someone unless they're cheating or doing something illegal. I know that I can sue over this.
Okay, well, if you want to sue them, that's a civil matter. Okay, we're not here to deal with that, right? Okay, do you want to explain it to them because I don't think you understand?
We're not accusing you of doing any wrongdoing. We're telling you we need your ID. Either you're going to give us the ID or we got to find your ID through fingerprints. That's what we're here for.
Because we're required to ID you. Anytime the police interact with someone where they're trying to get your information so they can ban you from coming here, they need to be able to identify who you are so you can't come back. We do the same thing. We'll get your information. We're going to tell you you're not allowed back here. You come back and be arrested. But I can't release you from here until I know who you are. So if you don't want to give me your ID, then I'm going to detain you and I'm going to take you down to the police station where I'm going to fingerprint you and get the Federal Bureau of Investigations to get your print.
Well, that part I know isn't true. The FBI would have no interest in this. I'm not stupid.
No, I'm not saying they have any interest. Their database.
Oh, the database.
For your fingerprints.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So if you don't want to go with them, that's fine. But you're gonna have to stand up, put your hands on your back, because you're gonna have to handcuffs. So it makes it a lot easier on everyone. That way you can be out of here in like 1 minute.
What if I want to get my info and give it to them? Is that
correct? Because they need your information in order to ban you. Thank you.
The officers arrived not to assess a crime, but to enforce the will of a corporation. Without establishing any crime and with no reasonable suspicion under Maryland law, Officers Bilter and Chappello demanded that Mills identify himself. When he declined, they threatened him with arrest. Mills, realizing the stakes, reluctantly handed over his passport. Here's the issue. Maryland is not a stop and identify state. Unless you're driving, being cited, or under lawful detention backed by reasonable suspicion, you're not legally required to show ID. Mills was none of those. What the officers did next blurred the line between law enforcement and private security. Their threats didn't come from a badge bound by the Constitution, they came from the casino's payroll, and the only accusation, card counting. But card counting isn't a crime. It's using your mind, not a device. In Maryland, only using external tools like electronic calculators is prohibited at the table. Remember, using your memory and strategy, no matter how sharp, is not a criminal act. So when these officers acting on behalf of their second employer escalated the situation and threatened detention for noncompliance, they weren't upholding law. They were enforcing corporate discomfort. How many people have been coerced into compliance by officers misusing authority in spaces where private money rules over public rights?
And like I mentioned, you're obviously not welcome back here, okay? What's the period of the ban? So you'll get a 7-day eviction starting today, and in about a week you'll get a letter from the casino which states what your final term of ban will be. So the casino can determine at that point whether they'll let you back in 7 days. They'll determine whether they're going to make it a month, or they're going to determine if you're banned indefinitely. Okay, so you'll get a letter from the casino. Before you get that letter, you can't come back or
And I just have one question for you guys.
Okay.
Is the casino staff allowed to detain someone and backroom them if they haven't done anything illegal?
They have reasons to believe you are, and you're in a private establishment.
I mean, there's a lot of case law on this. There's been a lot of cases in Las Vegas that
maybe
Maryland hasn't, gotten a lot of these cases.
I don't know what the laws in Vegas are. I know the laws in this state.
I know that you need to be doing something illegal like cheating or stealing or something in here to get back to legally be able to get back room, or else it's an unlawful detainment, right?
Okay.
Can you get detained?
If you feel like your rights were violated, you have every means to sue.
I was physically brought back here. I didn't come back here voluntarily.
Okay.
I told them I wanted.
Any altercations, they have state-of-the-art surveillance. I'm sure you're aware of that. So if you need to summons those videotapes, if you want to take them to court and sue them, you have that right. Okay. And if you want, I can get the information that you'll need to take the casino to court.
I mean, okay, but now you guys.
This is the guy in charge tonight. So if you want me to get his card, I'm sure he has one. He'll give you.
Yeah, okay.
And if you have any questions, you can call him or talk to your lawyer or whatever you want to do.
Well, as far as you guys know, are they allowed? Does it make any sense?
I mean, rules as far as this is concerned. We're here for criminal issues.
Right.
As far as the casino is concerned, that's what these gentlemen are here to do. Okay, they're with the gaming commission and the head of security here.
Oh, I just thought you guys might know specifically. Is the place allowed to detain you if you haven't done anything illegal?
If they believe you have, unfortunately, you don't think you have, but.
No, they didn't believe anything. They knew exactly what they thought I was doing, which was something legal. So they forcefully detained me for something that they knew was legal.
In the holding room, Justin Mills asked a simple question, one that should have stopped the entire incident in its tracks. Can private casino guards legally detain someone against their will for illegal activity? In Maryland, card counting using only your mind is not a crime. The law prohibits using electronic devices or machines to manipulate odds, but mental strategy, that's entirely legal. A casino can kick you out their private property, but they can't detain you, and they certainly can't use force. Yet that's exactly what happened. The casino's security manager, Christopher Coulter, physically restrained Mills, twisting his arm behind his back and locking him in a back room. They claimed authority. But under Maryland law, private citizens, including casino guards, can only detain someone without a warrant if they personally witness a felony or a breach of the peace. Card counting done silently and mentally is neither. That means the entire detainment was likely unlawful. Coulter's actions may constitute false imprisonment, defined as forcibly holding someone without legal cause and possibly second-degree assault. He used force without justification against a man who had committed no crime. The officers didn't intervene, they didn't question the legality, they reinforced it. When a corporation's private muscle uses force to hold someone for offending their bottom line, and police officers back to play what happens to the rule of law. If you think this crosses the line between security and unlawful arrest, drop a comment. If you believe citizens should be protected from corporate police collusion, hit that like button.
I don't think you understand how it is. It's very simple.
Oh, yeah.
It's a public place. And we suspect you're an advantage player, so we have the right to tell the people you're not welcome here.
You have the right to forcibly bring me
We
back
have the
here.
right to say to the people that you're not welcome here. That's it.
Yes.
That's it. That's
So
it.
it's right on there.
That's it. It's very
Isn't
simple
it?
as that.
It's
No, it just says where you were born at.
Silver Spring, Maryland.
Hi, Mr. Mills. I'm Chris Coulter. I'm the security manager here. As a consequence of the action, your permission to be on this premises in the Maryland Live Casino is hereby revoked. Any expressed or implied invitation by the owner or occupant of this land is specifically denied. You're being asked to leave the property immediately following this eviction process. You also forfeit any or all winnings and amenities while this eviction remains in effect, including means if you come on the property within the 7 days you win, you
I need to
can't.
cash out my chips.
What's that?
I need to cash in my chips that I have.
You won't be able to. No, I can't let you back. I can't let you back on the floor. Okay?
Well, can someone else cash in my chips?
Someone
you guys
can.
can't.
No, we can't. But someone else for you can.
You can't steal my money. You have to be
Someone can cash them for you.
before I leave.
Do you have any of your
Yeah,
friends
yeah.
here?
No, I came here by myself.
You gonna ask a random stranger to do it, or what? We can't cash.
I've never heard of this.
All right, let him continue.
Any future unauthorized entry in the Maryland Live Casino on this property shall be considered trespass and subject to arrest and prosecution to the full extent of Maryland law. This remains in effect for a period of 7 days and will be followed up with a letter indicating the full length of the eviction for committing one or more of the following. Okay, so if you get caught back on the property, it'll be trespassing within those 7 days. You'll get a letter in the mail sometime within those 7 days saying 7 days is sufficient. They'll give you a 2-month, 3-month, 5-month. I don't know what that decision will be made by the GM. So I need you to go ahead and sign this saying that you understand that I explained this to you. Go ahead and read it. I'm fine with that.
You'll get a copy of that, correct?
Yeah, I'll give him a copy once he signs it. And here's your passport, and there's my card. The casino's address is on my card.
Hey, are you guys audio recording? You don't do that?
Unless you have an audio recorder.
Not a good one anyway.
Do you have a good one? I don't have
It's all right. As long as you guys can remember what was said here today. All right, what day is it?
Today's the 21st.
The 21st.
So what he's saying about your chips is, they're your chips, we're not taking your chips.
Oh, I need
You
to
just
cash
can't-
them in.
You can't cash them in right now.
Well, can someone else cash it in?
If you can
This
find
is all the
someone
money
that
I
can cash
had.
them in for you.
This is all the money I had with me. They can't just steal my money. This is my money.
You're right, and the money's still in your pocket, it's just in the chip form.
have value. You got a phone?
Why wouldn't I
Where
be
are
able
you
to-
from? Are you from around here?
Yeah, I'm from Silver Spring,
Spring.
and I'm okay. I know Maryland has the same laws around gaming as Vegas, for the most part. If anything, Vegas is stricter. They
Again,
always.
you're talking about Vegas. We're not here to talk about Vegas. I've never been to Vegas. I don't know Vegas law, so I can't advise you on that. Okay, so stop asking about Vegas. We don't know. Okay.
I'm just
We
saying.
can go based on what Maryland law
I thought it
states because
made
I'm a
sense.
Maryland police officer,
Well,
not a Vegas police officer.
I don't know why security couldn't cash in my chips then and bring the cash back.
Because then you could accuse them of stealing your money, which we don't want to do because you're already trying to accuse them of doing illegal things, right? So why would we let you try and accuse them of more things? You see what I'm going with this? If you want to play tough ball, then that's fine. We're not going to let you cash in your chips, okay? So unfortunately, that's how it's going to be. We're not stealing your money, but we're obviously not going to take your money and cash it because then you're going to sit here and tell us that we stole your money. You've already tried to accuse us of illegally detaining
Not you.
Since you're a lawyer and
Not
all
you
that.
guys.
Okay.
I'm accusing the staff of the casino.
And you might, hence why we're not going to deal with the chip issue because I'm not going to have you trying to accuse them of something else, okay? So we're going to minimize that. Within your 7 days, I'm sure when you come back, whenever your eviction's up, you can cash your chips. If you want to call the general manager, whoever's above him, you have his card. If you want to call them and they can make arrangements with you to come by tomorrow or something like that, as long as you have their permission to come by here, you might be able to come by tomorrow and cash them out, right? Maybe something like that. If they talk to them and say, hey, I just need to cash out my chips, whatever. They might say, okay, come by, we'll meet you at the front door and we'll take you to cash them, okay? Unfortunately, we're not going to do that right now.
Okay, I'll have someone else cash it then.
Okay, and that's totally fine. But in the 7 days until you hear a notice, just don't come back to the casino, okay? Unless you speak with someone that works at the casino that's give you permission to come back.
If you get that permission to come back, make sure they call the security desk and let the people in the security know. Sometimes there's a disconnect, and I don't want any issues if you're allowed to come back in, okay?
Okay? So if you talk to someone that's higher up than him in the casino and they say you can come back, whenever you come in the front door, tell the security officer, hey, I was banned, but I had permission to come back from so-and-so, so they can verify that before you come in. Okay? That sound fair?
All right. Okay. Now, if I need to follow up with anyone, do you guys would like this?
Who do you want to follow up with?
No, I'm saying if someone needs to contact you in the future just to get like a statement or something. If you have like a card.
Yeah, I'll give you my card.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. you have any questions, you can call me right there. If your lawyer wants to call me, my phone number's on the bottom. Okay? Thanks. All right, right out this way.
After the forced detainment ended, Mills was permanently banned from the Maryland Live Casino. He never got to cash out his chips, no refund, no apology, just a letter delivered after he was escorted out like a criminal for using his brain. But Mills didn't let it end there. On February 20th, 2015, he filed a federal civil rights lawsuit. The defendants, the casino security manager Christopher Coulter and Arundel County, and the two officers who backed the casino's actions, Officers Bilter and Chapello. It was a bold move, but one grounded in clear violations of constitutional law. After 2 years of legal wrangling, the court ruled in Mills's favor on a critical issue, civil false imprisonment. The court denied both officers qualified immunity, meaning they could be held personally liable for unlawfully detaining Mills without reasonable suspicion. That ruling didn't just clear the path for a jury trial, it dismantled the officers' legal shield. Less than 2 months later, the case was quietly dismissed. Behind closed doors, a settlement was reached. No public trial, no official apology. But one thing was made clear: the officers had acted in the private interest of their part-time employer, not the public they swore to protect. Qualified immunity only applies when officers act in their official capacity. Here the court noted they were acting for the casino's benefit, enforcing the will of a business, not the law. This case is a chilling reminder of how private interests can compromise public authority. When officers double as corporate security, where does their loyalty lie? Do you believe off-duty cops should be allowed to moonlight for private companies like casinos, or does that invite corruption and abuse? Leave your thoughts below, and if you believe Justin Mills deserved justice, let's get this video shared.
Listen.
First of all, you're on camera, front and back.
You're on camera as well.
Don't do that to me again.
You're on camera as well.
Good.
Okay?
Good.
3 feet, right? So if there's traffic behind you, you need to pull to the side.
That is not what the law says.
Okay?
That is not what the law says.
They have to give you the 3 feet.
They have to, yeah, they have to go over there.
Okay? But this is a one-lane road, so you got to give them room to pass. You're riding close to the yellow line, okay? Like I said, your audio and video recorded, okay?
Perfectly legal.
Okay,
What I'm doing.
do you understand?
I understand I'm being recorded.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and you have to allow room for vehicles to pass you, okay?
They got that room over there.
All right.
This lane cannot be shared.
There is no room for us to pass you unless we went into the oncoming lane
that's
completely.
What you're supposed to do.
No, this is a
yes,
double yellow.
Which is legal to cross.
No, if you have to give them room.
Chapter 89,
Listen,
Section 2. You look it up.
You don't understand. You have to yield.
No, I do not. I have the right of way. If I'm here first, I got the right of way.
Yes, but you have to allow room to pass.
No, only if the lane.
You have to allow room to pass.
Only if the lane is wide enough for
You also have to yield to blue lights and pull over and stop if you're being stopped, which you can be arrested for. Okay? Do you understand that? And you just wanted to keep riding.
It's an unlawful stop. This is an unlawful stop. Okay?
You are not allowing room to pass. Okay?
You have to wait. You have to wait. Everybody has to wait until it's safe to pass. You got narrow lanes, 2 lanes, you got oncoming traffic, and you got bends. I hold the lane until it is safe. You had to wait. That's why I had my hand out. I wanted you to wait and hold off until it was safe to pass.
And it wasn't safe to pass with you on the yellow line. You were all the way over. You did not yield. Like, you need to give us room. You need to give motorists room, okay? It's not safe for you. I don't want to see you get clipped by somebody.
Why would I get clipped by somebody?
If you're riding over close to the yellow line and then somebody tries to pass you.
I don't want them to at that point. That's the problem. I don't want them to. That's why I was where I was.
Okay, and you didn't need to be over there.
But I can take up any position in the lane.
Coming to an intersection.
No, anywhere. I can do it anywhere.
That's incorrect.
No, it is not. No, it is not. I've had this argument with I've had this argument with state police, and I've had it.
I don't know why you want to argue. Just pull over, yield, come to the side.
I wanted to.
You were taking the whole lane in the middle. You weren't even close to the side. You were all the way over to the yellow line.
Probably because I was coming around the bend. Yeah, I'll come out to the middle.
It was the whole way from when we were behind you.
I'll check my video on that.
Good. Check the video. Okay. Ours is all video and audio and video recorded too. Okay.
Great. Okay.
You understand? Allow room for motorists to pass you. Okay, because you're going to start issues with people if not. Okay.
I am allowed to be in the middle of the lane. Look it up in the driver's manual.
Huh?
Look it up in the driver's manual.
I know the manual. Okay? I'm certified on the bicycle as well.
Really?
Okay? You need to allow room for vehicles to pass.
That's what they have that over there for. And
there's no 2 lanes here. There was even a bike lane up there. When we were behind you, coming off Harrison Boulevard, there's a bike lane on the right. If there's a bike lane, you're supposed to utilize it.
No, I am not. That is definitely not in the law. You look that up.
It's a lane specially for you.
It is not the law. I don't have to use it. Massachusetts does not mandate bike lane usage. Look it up.
They do not mandate bike lane usage.
They do not mandate bike lane usage. They don't mandate shoulder usage. And they don't have an as far right as possible law like the other states do.
On December 3rd, 2024, a cyclist known online as the Cyclist was pedaling down a narrow road in Avon, Massachusetts when a police cruiser crept up behind him. Officer Stenstrom behind the wheel wasn't pleased with how slowly the cyclist was riding or where he was positioned in the lane. But what followed was more than a traffic misunderstanding. It was a clash between authority and rights captured on both a bike-mounted camera and the officer's own body cam. The officer insisted the cyclist was required to ride further to the right to let vehicles pass, but that interpretation was legally shaky. According to Massachusetts law, cyclists are permitted to use the full lane even when there's a bike lane available. In fact, the state's driver's manual states that bicycles have the same right to public roads as cars, and passing them requires caution, patience, and at least 4 feet of clearance. Still, Officer Stenstrom maintained his position, arguing not citing. What he ignored is what the law actually says: a cyclist must give way only when safe to do so. That's not a suggestion, it's protection. Because forcing a cyclist to the edge of a narrow road to satisfy a driver's impatience can be deadly. Massachusetts statutes back this up. They outline that overtaking must be done safely by the motorist and that cyclists should move right only when practicable. The U.S. District Court affirmed this in Damon v. Hukovich, clarifying that safety, not convenience, is the standard. A cyclist isn't required to put themselves in danger just to keep traffic flowing. Yet the officer seemed either unaware or unwilling to engage with that nuance. His frustration wasn't rooted in law, it was rooted in being slowed down. And that raises a serious question: was this really about traffic safety or about ego? Should cyclists be expected to prioritize a driver's convenience over their own safety? And how much discretion should officers have when they don't understand or apply the law correctly? Drop a comment, and if you ride or drive these roads, we want to hear from you.
See, now you're suggesting, okay?
No, I'm just saying, why not just use it? I'm not trying to argue, I'm just saying, why not just use it so you can let some other vehicles?
It's up to me. It's up to me. Besides, where I know how to handle myself. I've been doing this for years.
So why are you going to try and start issues with people? If you have a lane that's safe for you to use, why are you going to ride the yellow line?
Because
it's just not logical. It's not safe for you. It's almost like you're trying to start problems.
It's legal. It's legal. You're a law enforcement officer.
It's legal to do a lot of things. It doesn't mean it's smart, right?
Stop pulling me over for unlawful reasons.
Unlawful reasons.
Unlawful reasons.
You were causing a safety hazard.
No, I was not.
Yes, forcing vehicles to go into oncoming traffic when there's a whole lane.
I do not force anybody to go into oncoming traffic. They
Riding
made that decision themselves,
line.
like you did. You decided to get into the oncoming lane when there was oncoming traffic.
Riding tight to that yellow line is forcing motor
No,
vehicles
it
into the
isn't.
other lane.
No, all I'm doing is forcing them to make a decision. They've got at least 2 choices. One good one, one bad one. You made the bad one.
So what's the good one?
Just stay behind me
Stay
and wait
behind
until
you?
it's actually, until you.
And go like 15 miles an hour?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
That's just ignorant.
But it's the law.
It's not.
It's the law. Am I free to go?
You're free to go.
Okay, thank you very much.
As long as you allow these vehicles to pass.
After the heated exchange, Officer Stenstrom ultimately let the cyclist go without issuing a citation. But while the incident ended without formal charges, the tension hung in the air, unresolved and unaccounted for. There's no record of whether the cyclist filed a complaint, but the damage had already been done. A lawful cyclist publicly chastised a traffic stop, arguably rooted in frustration rather than safety, and an officer whose understanding of the law fell short of his authority to enforce it. Encounters like these aren't just about traffic laws, they're about power interpretation and who gets the benefit of the doubt when rights collide with misunderstanding. Should police be required to pass a legal knowledge test before enforcing niche traffic laws like cycling statutes? And if they misuse that authority, even without writing a ticket, should there still be consequences? Let us know what you think in the comments, and if you believe public accountability matters, hit that like button so more people see stories like this.